So, hi everyone, my name is Tara. I'm the voice behind the videos you watch on this channel. And today I would like to say hello to my beautiful mentor, Perth-based healer, Mandi Nelson. Hello, Mandy. How are you?
Hey Tara, it is such an honor to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this.
Thank you so much for responding. I really, this is first talk in a series
Mm,
that are coming, and to open this with you, one reason, just because who you are as a person and a woman and a healer, and also because of ongoing synchronicities that seems like connects us, seems like there is a bigger
mm,
story to tell, and that's one of the
mhm,
reasons why we speak today.
mhm,
Yeah, so thank you very much for coming again.
mhm,
And what I would like to do, us to do, you to do first, as I said, you are my mentor, and I'm doing your program and
mm,
your private sessions, which we will talk more about later on. But you always start with a cleansing ceremony. You
mm,
cleanse the space beautifully. There is that statement of sovereignty. And
mhm,
I always, every single time, I feel the shift in a field when you
mm,
do that. So I would like
mm,
you to invite you today to share that with
mm.
us.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for the offer to do that, Tara. It is the deepest honor to do that. So I'm just going to light some Palo Santo. So I generally use either Palo Santo or sage. Um, And I might invite us just to say a sovereignty statement or a couple of them before we begin. Uh, as you know, this is something that I do in a private session as well as when I hold group space. In fact, this is imperative to do if we go for a massage or whoever we're working with on a one-to-one or in a group space. So those at home might like to do it too. So just you can close down your eyes. I'm going to close down mine. And let's take this opportunity just to repeat the following statements after me. I'm a sovereign being
I'm a sovereign being,
and I command my personal space.
and I command my personal space.
I build connections only with those
I build connections only with those
that support my sovereign domain.
that support my sovereign domain.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So I'm going to call into this space the highest frequencies of light and the highest frequencies of love. Anything of a lower frequency is only welcome here if it chooses transformation and transmutation. Otherwise, you are not welcome here and you must leave now. Okay, we're also going to take this opportunity to acknowledge and honor the traditional spiritual custodians of all of the lands that we're upon. So I know that you are transmitting, Tara, from Wadandi country, and I am in connection here from Wajak country. So we acknowledge and honor the Bibbulmun or the paperbark people, which includes all of the original custodians of the southwest of Western Australia. So we acknowledge and honour all of those ancient ones, all of the ancestors, and all of the elders, both past, present, and emerging in all of the lands that you are connecting in with this transmission from. We also acknowledge and honor each of our unique ancestral lineages that flows through our body to the beat of our ancestral drum, our heartbeat. And we acknowledge and honor the teachers of our teachers. And so it is. Thank you, beloved Tara, for the opportunity to do that.
Thank you so much, Mandi. I am so grateful that we get to do in front of camera and humbly share it with other people. I just realized I might get a little bit emotional now and then, um, but that's happy tears. um, I really have a soft spot for original people of this land. Um, and maybe because I'm of the nation who suffered, and in a way is still suffering lots of, stuff that are not good. Um, I can deeply relate to what happened on this land. Uh,
Mm,
and I think we are here to heal not just us, but also that and bring change and bring symbiosis. So thank you very much.
mm. You are so welcome. The frequency lifted so high, as you know, I hear frequencies and the frequency just raised so incredibly high. Uh, yeah, I just think that for humanity, it's about bringing things back into right relationship, isn't it? It's right relationship with land, with ourselves, with one another. And that is the work for humanity at this point in time.
Exactly. I
Mm,
agree. All the rest is the tool and the path, and
mm,
that is the goal
mm,
to bring the lore that lived once upon a time on Earth, I think.
mm.
So thank you. So before we continue, um, can you introduce yourself? And if you allow me, I would just like to tell the story how I met you first time because it will set the tone for the rest.
Okay.
So we just moved from Queensland um, to Perth, and in Frio Gallery there was an event. I can't remember what it was, but then there was lady with. There's a lots of people, but there was lady white dressed in white and she was doing photography, and the way there was crowd and the way she was doing it in her movement and her presence, and there was something about her which is you. uh,
Mm,
and I have that habit that sometimes if I see interesting people, I'm just like kid. I just stare in them. I forget that it's maybe not appropriate. So I stood there and just stare at you. I just love how you moved and something about. Anyways, and then I found out that you're a healer. I met you on festivals, events. I um, uh, went to see you on a land where you lived and participate
mm,
in few ceremonies, but then we went to travel. Um, and then we will explain the story later, and then series of synchronicities and inner
mm,
insights bring me back very close to you. So here we are.
mm,
Thank you again, and
mm.
if you could introduce yourself.
Sure. Okay. Well, I guess the majority of the work that I offer that I'm just putting my legs up. I like to sit cross-legged. The majority of the work that I offer these days is actually with people moving through thresholds. And often they are in this threshold because they're feeling like the shoe doesn't fit anymore. They're aware of where they need to expand, or sometimes these events appear to be thrust upon them. They might be in deep grief. They might be going through serious health challenges, relationship separation, any of these kind of scenarios. So I basically stand and support people through these processes in a manner of different ways. As you are aware, I just did a journey for the Seven Sisters to Uluru. So journeys, retreats are a big way that is an introduction or a doorway into these threshold opportunities. Um, I also have online courses. I have a mentorship. That's part of what you're involved with. I work with leaders. My background is quite varied. I've had many incarnations in this lifetime, as I'm sure you have too.
Mhm.
And academically, I studied psychology, I studied criminology, I studied women's studies. I have done extensive study on different philosophies. I started yoga. I was blessed to find yoga when I was 8, and that has become a staple. It wasn't always a staple. However, for the last 17 years, I have had a daily practice because
Mm.
I hit 40 and I actually realized, after many years of being on the path and then off the path and on the path and off the path, I was like, Mandy, are you a slow learner? Your life flows so much better when you just stay on the path. So for the last 17 years, I've really been following that call of spirit, and my life has unfolded like a magical carpet ride.
Mm.
So I guess, yeah, I do many varied things. I do support people through life transitions, through those thresholds to in a non-judgmental,
Mm.
unconditional love, uh, very supportive manner, so people can move through and find the next doorway, whatever that doorway actually is, moving themselves again into right relationship and right relationship with others, right relationship with the land. It forms a foundation. Uh, I've been blessed to do many different, various kinds of spiritual healing. I worked with, I call them original as opposed to Aboriginal elder for 8, 9 years here in Perth. I've studied with a maestro from Peru. And I've also studied recently with an Australian woman, which has really led my work into sovereignty. Tracy Gillies is her name, and that's really, I think that was the icing on the cake. That
Mm.
really, I mean, I think I was working through the heart with leading people to their own inner authority, leading to people to live by their innate gifts and talents for many years. I think the piece missing was though that sovereignty, which we touched upon right at the very beginning.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
also a mother of two.
Important role, very important
Yes.
role.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's me.
beautiful. Thank
Mm.
you. Um, so I think there is, at this point, I know, there is the thread that brought us together.
Mm.
And you mentioned earlier Seven Sisters, and past few days for me, just yesterday, maybe just coincidence again, but yesterday was 7th of July, was 7/7, and I was
Hmm.
preparing myself for this. Um, yeah, Seven Sisters story. If I might put in little introduction, little um chronography of events that brought me back to you. So last year, February 2025, we host Dr. Semir Osmanagic. I'm Bosnian by roots. I moved to
Mm.
Australia 15 years ago. Um, and you might be aware of Bosnian Pyramids.
Mm.
So I visited them 2007, first time, just 2 years after discovery. It was not much excavation done back then and not much development. And, it was very controversial story, which still is, but I just felt energy and I felt such a presence. I walk on top of the pyramid and I just felt such a presence. I felt energy and I decided for myself, this is real. And I stay to follow Dr. Samir's work and developments and, research and all of that. Then moved to Australia, yes, and we hosted him last year. And one of the talks was in Perth, and I just felt that call that I need to, you know, um, invite you as a guest of all people, you for some reason. And you came, um, and you felt called.
Mm.
Soon after that, you said to me um, that you felt called to go to Bosnia.
Mm.
And what happened soon after Sam left? Um, we also met Stephen and Evan Strong, which are really connected to Seven Sisters story and so on. And Auntie Trudy in East Coast, she also talks Seven Sisters a lot. And they made that big podcast with Billy Carson just soon after that about Seven Sisters. And in June that same year, we traveled to Bosnia, and there is that big solstice conference. And Sam announced um, that they found out after really detailed research and they have certain program. I think they scanned the sky for 2 days. So,
Mm.
and what they found is that as Giza pyramids align with Orion belt, Bosnian pyramids align with Pleiades. And
Mm.
I was standing there by the stage and recording. And I was just like, my chin just dropped.
Mm.
And so many pieces fall to place. And I just understood why this, why that, why this connection. Because this is not just alignment. This is so much bigger. This is learning about architecture. This is sacred geometry.
Mhm.
This is about basic divine principle of creation, how
Mm.
we get things back to natural order. We'll talk about that later. But then, yeah, that story just shifted something in me, and I went deeper into research. And I returned to Australia, and then one day, I'm just thinking, I need to get this story out. This is why I'm here. And I
Mm.
always felt Uluru and Bosnian pyramids are connected. People would laugh on me. I was saying this for years. People would laugh sometimes. It's like, what do you mean? I said, I don't know. They're just communicating. I don't know how. And now
Mm.
we have a link. It's Seven Sisters. It's Pleiades. And the cat confirms indeed.
I was waiting for the cat confirmation.
Exactly. Um, anyway, and then I just felt, yeah, now is the time. I need to share this story. Uh,
Mm.
and one day I'm thinking of that, and I randomly opened Facebook, and then was your post or invitation to program that I'm doing now.
Mm.
Um, and I joined that, and 6 months into it, I discovered I did not know how connected you actually are to Seven Sisters.
Mm.
And also, here I am sitting in front of camera. I write a book that's
mm,
other story. My work with Nikola Tesla, which I'm great admirer and student and all of that, but that's other story.
mm,
I write a
mm,
book. I start to write a book. I create all those websites. I did all the action that was needed so that I can, the knowledge that is gathered, that I'm capable of organizing it all and putting it out in proper form. So,
mm,
and I think big part of it is working with you. So I truly am grateful.
mm,
And this is not commercial. This is not, this is just my
mm.
really heart review.
Ah, beautiful. Thank
So
you.
anyway, thank you. Seven Sisters,
Mm,
what they mean to you, what they mean in original people lore, how you,
mm.
what's your,
Yeah, well, Nana Violet did speak to me about the Seven Sisters, and she did tell me stories about the Seven Sisters. Uh, though it is women's law, LORE, and it's not something that I have permission to publicly speak on. Uh, so I felt a connection to them, always have, straight away. I actually have them tattooed on my chest. That's what the tattoo is. In the love heart with the two dragons. So that is, yeah, it's connected to my heart. I'm an ego projector, which means I'm heart based. And only a small percentage of the population actually carry that vehicle design. So, yeah, again, I was guided by spirit to have that placed on the heart. So for me, I don't know what the calling was to go uh, to that Bosnian talk that you're talking about the Bosnian pyramids. I do know that I saw it come up, and I rarely go to uh, social engagements or outside things because at that point I was living an hour away from Metropolis, so it just seemed a bit too hard, particularly at night. And due to my human design, I am hermit based, hermit slash opportunist. So occasionally I will go out. And this, I saw it come up on social media. And then I received, and I noticed it, and I felt the stirring to go to it. Okay, this was before understanding any connection with the Seven Sisters. I just felt the
yeah.
stirring. And then I don't know, maybe it was a few days, a week later, I received your invitation saying we'd love for you to come, which was completely random. And I was straight away, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to that. We're going. And I think from that moment, just meeting Sam and seeing yourself there, it was a calling. And I was just called. Spirit was saying, you need to come here at some point. So, yeah, I did say to you, I'm going to Bosnia. And I really wanted to last year, but circumstances just wouldn't allow for it to happen. And then I was kind of in a bit of a hiatus, a bit like, okay, so what's happening in 2026, Mandy? And then the next thing that dropped in was you going to Uluru. And as it turned out, because the first time I went to Uluru was with an original man, that so there was the delegation statement of, well, what came out of the delegation. It was a meeting of all of, well, many of the tribes represented from Australia. The government called this meeting. It was to do with the no referendum, the very early stages of that. So, what came out of that was the statement of the heart. And I drove there with my very good friend Joe, who didn't want to fly. And he just said, Mandy, do you want to drive to Uluru with me? And I was like, whoa, yes, absolutely. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful in that he stayed in the five-star hotel and I stayed in the $10 Kmart tent in the campground. And I just loved that, I loved that things had been turned around. And he was saying to me, because there were two big queen size beds, and he was saying, you can come and sleep in the room if you like. And I'm like, no, 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 you enjoy it, you enjoy it. So, yeah, I was there when they read this beautiful statement of the heart. And uh, that I was crying. There were media from all over the world. And it was the first time, like they voted against what the government wanted them to. They came together and they had this statement about what they really wanted. And I guess at the heart center of that was that they wanted to be seen as sovereign beings. You know, they didn't want to cede their sovereignty. They wanted to have a voice. So that was the beginning of the voice, even though they voted against it. So I guess the government shaped it into the way that they wanted it to be when they brought it around the second time, which is generally what happens, which was just a rewrite of what they originally wanted. I'm just assuming. So, yeah, that was my first visit to Uluru. And as I started to really map that out, I came to the understanding that it had actually been 9 years. So it was almost at a completion cycle since I'd last been there. And she was really calling me back. So this time we took a group there were 7 of us, the 7 sisters. We connected with the original people there. We had some beautiful experiences. They dove very deep into the stories of the 7 sisters. And the amazing thing, and as we know, that's a connection to Pleiades, as we know, there are Indigenous cultures across the world that tell a similar story about these stars. And for me, that story epitomizes the return to the feminine and the strength of the feminine. And for me, that is very much in alignment with right relationship. Because the feminine is more of a circular style of leadership. It's not so much power over. Well, there are those women that have been programmed into the power over way, playing the men's game. And tuning into our emotions, tuning into the environment, having deep connection with this beautiful land, these beautiful lands that we're blessed to live upon, understanding that there is consciousness within everything, and we all have a choice to live consciously or not. So then from there, the natural progression was always going to be Bosnia, right? So it is, and at the time that we record this, it is 6 days out from me leaving to go to Bosnia, following the call of spirit, which is, the human mind has no real comprehension. I have signed up to do some volunteering there as well. There are some monumental happenings in Bosnia while I'm there to do with the 7 sisters that I actually had no idea of. There is a meteor shower on my birthday over the 7 sisters. Can you believe that? 12th and 13th of August. So I have no idea what's going to unfold here. And it's been quite interesting, I've been saying to people, oh yeah, I'm leaving. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to Bosnia. They're like, Bosnia?
What's there?
I'm like, oh yeah, the Bosnian Pyramids. They're like, okay. So yeah, uh, I mean, Tara, you've been there so many times before. There is a very big story between you and I. I don't fully understand it either.
Right.
And yeah, it is continuing to unfold. And it would have been interesting if I had have gone to that talk if you didn't extend, the invitation, because once you extended the invitation, I'd already clocked it, which was unusual in itself for me, and whether I would have followed that through or not. But yeah, so uh, Seven Sisters story is definitely about the feminine, and as I'll reiterate again, I really feel that humanity and men themselves within the man is the feminine and the masculine equally. Men themselves, like for the evolution of humanity, really need to tune in to that feminine aspect of themselves. And perhaps it's not masculine leaders that can lead men into this work. The majority of spirituality is coming from, uh, well, we look at the majority yoga, meditation, it all has its roots in a very rich masculine orientated spirituality. We have like there are many scriptures around this. There's many different writings around this. Whereas the feminine often is left to the feminine. There'll be a temple space that is a priestesshood. This is not the time for either of that. This is a time for the combination of the two.
Mhm.
No matter what vehicle design we're in, we both have equal masculine and feminine within. It's time for us to sit in communal spaces with that feminine aspect operating, accessing both feminine and masculine spiritual energies. And whilst we've kept it all in the masculine, we're very easily programmable.
Mhm. Mhm. Because it gets, if not balanced with feminine, it gets rigid,
Mm-hmm.
and being rigid is being programmed.
Absolutely.
So, so what I would like to say, I did not know about your tattoo,
Mm.
but as you know, one of the pyramids, there is five of them. One of them is Pyramid of Love. You said you had heart. The other one is Pyramid of Dragon. You said you had two dragons. So um, it's meant to be. It seems
Mm.
like at this point is knowing, it's not believing anymore. We did some funny jumps and in life, I think you too, just like me, funny turns and jumps just to follow the spirit,
Mm.
just to follow risk many
Mm.
times, risk so much, sometimes everything.
Mm.
Um, but to follow that voice within that takes you um,
Mm.
further. And the time, many times we almost do it blindly, almost instinctively, just follow intuition. But now the time has come, the precision of guidance um, is so obvious, is so precise. It seems like there is some brilliant design behind it all. That
Mm.
we can't, obviously, as humans, we can't comprehend how this all works in reality and how events synchronize itself
Mm.
into stories, into meetings with people, into our um, internal impulses to reach, like I reach to you and your internal um, guidance to go to how it's just getting clearer and clearer. That was my point. Um,
Mm.
and for me, as a Bosnian, it's as I said, this discovery is relatively new, and I learned so much about pyramids in past years, but this is like completely new chapter. I'm still putting it into my personal context, into our cultural context within our Balkans, culture and collective worldwide, and then at the end into cosmical context, what that means. And what you said about feminine and masculine. Sam is academic. He is anthropologist and he's beautiful scientist and he done so much research. He's so methodic, collecting data constantly for 20 years, very intelligent and very hardworking. Um, and that's very strong masculine. Also, lots of feminine grace with him. How is it that he spotted those pyramids and purely on intuition, name
Mm,
for what they are? And then they turn out to carry exactly that energy, like
mm,
energy of dragon. We met people. So story broke up 2005. We met that man who's not local shaman now. His life changed, but he was born on Pyramid of Dragon. He told us he's in his 60s now. He told us when he was a kid running those hills, once he had vision, like with eyes, not with third eye, but with naked eye, he saw dragon around
mm,
dragon.
mm,
Um, so he created beautiful spirals there, and people come to his property, which are on a. I'm sure you will get there too, on the slopes on the Pyramid of Dragon. And we worked with him and attend his ceremony. It was beautiful. And how is it that Sam came? Sam is local, but it's not. He was born like hour away from pyramids. And he
mm,
just came and randomly says, this is dragon, so this is very feminine for me. What I wanted to say, he did beautiful balanced job, but I think there is more feminine to come. And I think you're
mm,
with Seven Sisters and everything, we I think one of the reasons that you're going there is you will help us understand what that actually means from
mm,
spiritual perspective, from knowledge, from intelligence, because pyramids are 30 plus thousand years old. So
mm,
they resemble Pleiades. And when they were measuring that and do their drawings and, working with technology to figure out the shape and position, they found out Pleiades are actually Seven Sisters are in spiral.
mm,
Fibonacci.
mm,
They're actually.
mm,
So yeah, I think with your with you being there and volunteering and all of that, I think you, at least to me, I think you will help me bring the context, the meaning, what that means.
mm,
Um, and one of the first things when I heard about that design and all of that was teaching on, as I said before, proper natural architecture, which is sacred geometry, which is beauty
mhm,
and is practicality. That's why nature do it, because it's optimum.
mm,
Optimum, how you can bring things together into design.
mm,
And that starts within our mind. So I don't want to talk too much about myself, but just this little detail of the story to when I started to work more seriously with what we do now, with our tours and everything, I started to think my projects in sacred geometry. I would draw circles and I said, okay, this is main, this is base. And then I would put another one. This goes with collaboration with this one, and this, and this, and this. And I was never very logical. It was hard for me to bullet points in, those patterns. It
mhm,
was hard for me and this changed everything because I'm very visual.
mm,
I'm thinking now my projects in my head, otherwise there would be mess of everything because have so much going on. But in my head, I have, okay, this, and it works. It works for me. And this is first step that we
mm,
organize our consciousness
mhm,
in sacred geometry. And then
mhm,
our outer structure, our projects, our homes, everything else follows. So
mm, mm,
one of the
mm,
applications.
mm. Yeah, I feel that we all have a innate responsibility to completely understand the vehicles that we're driving. They are unique. They are made up of unique DNA. We have had, our soul chose the exact human design, the exact vehicle that it was that could uh, lead it through the experiences that it was required to have in order for us to grow and evolve here on Earth School.
Mhm.
I think we're at a very exciting time where our consciousness is shifting and changing, and it's people exactly like yourself, Tara, that are here to lead the way.